Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Let's hope the third time is a charm with this video. So we've had a couple issues we ran into. So one question we get a lot is can you put an offer in contingent on your house selling? So yes, you can. There is a spot on the offer where you can submit an offer. Seller can accept the offer contingent on your house selling. So at that point, usually there's a predetermined time, 12, 24, 48 hours, right of first refusal. And what that means is that the seller, so even though they've accepted your offer, they can still market the property for sale. So they can still have open houses, they can still push it out on social media, they can still accept another offer. Let's say that they go accept another offer. Well, at this point, hopefully you've had the talk with your lender. The realtor really doesn't get into it much. Can you buy without selling your old house, or do you need to sell before you buy? Because at that point, if you can sell before you buy, you can make the decision, hey, I'm gonna move forward and get uncomfortable and own two houses. So that's all off your debt to income ratio, and that's kind of what your lender will know. So we do have people that, they're not comfortable owning two houses. So if they let it walk and they let the other person buy that house, but we do have some people that love the house. This is the house for them. At that time, they decide that it's all right to get a little uncomfortable and they're going to own two mortgages for a little bit. So at that time, we submit a letter or something in writing to the other listing agent, and they let us saying that we can remove the home sale contingency. And at that point, we move into the number one offer. So that's kind of how that works. Let's say that you do have a home sale contingency, everything's working out good. You have an offer on your house, you have an offer on another house, everything's moving along. Well, we're gonna close on December 15th. How does that work? Because you need to be closed out of your other house. Where do you put your stuff in the meantime? Because at the same time, you need to be moving into the other house. So at that time, you also have to get a little bit uncomfortable. So you might have to move stuff into your friends, family, in-laws, storage units, something like that. You have to put a lot of your stuff there before you can jump over into your new house. So maybe a couple nights in a hotel, maybe you're down to an air mattress and a few things in the house so you can clean up real quick. They come for their final walkthrough, then both parties go to the title company and you sell your old house. Once that transaction's completed, you're able to buy the other one and start moving your stuff into that other one. So it does get a little bit tricky when you are buying and selling on the same day, but that's the only way some people can do it, and we make it work. So one thing about it is, so if you do a home sale contingency offer, there is earnest money that you have to put down still. So what the earnest money is it's kind of like a deposit on an apartment or something to tie you to that house. So you have different contingency. You have a property inspection. The house has to appraise. Those are two contingencies. If you don't sell your house, the house doesn't appraise, doesn't pass inspection, the buyer will get the earnest money back. But let's say that, all of a sudden you get cold feet, you decide not to get the house, that would be cause for the seller to get that earnest money back. A lot of times it's $1,000, 1,000, 2,000, kind of depends on the house and different stuff like that. So that's what earnest money is. Flipping it around from a listing agent side, if a buyer's agent brings us an offer contingent on a home sale, there's kind of three things we're going to look at. One is that home under contract. If it is under contract, that's great. I mean, that, they've done the hard part, and a lot of times we can accept that offer and everything can kind of move forward and really close on time. Two, is the house on the market? If it is on the market, they still need to find a buyer. That is one of the tougher parts, and get through a home inspection, stuff like that. But at the same time, we can see what the house looks like inside. We can pull up the MLS, we can pull up the data and look it over and see what's the probability of that house getting an offer to meet our timeline and close on time. So that's the second thing we look at. The third thing we look at, well, is it not on the market? If it isn't on the market, well, that's tough then, because we could accept this offer. Yes, that's great. We have an accepted offer, but the buyers in our minds for sure still need to sell their house to buy. So at that point, how long does it take their house to get on the market? How long does it take for them to find a buyer? There's a lot more moving parts if they don't even have their house on the market. And a lot of times, that's not a real strong offer. We will look at it, but there's a lot more things to consider them. Another reason we're running into this right now is I think I sound like a broken record, that interest rates are really, really low right now. So a lot of people are refinancing. But let's say that you were planning on moving maybe 2, 3, 4 years from now, and you were gonna buy a bigger house. So is it do you refinance now and lock in at that, 3% interest rate, or do you just make that jump a little bit earlier? And a lot of times that you have close to the same payment depending on what your current interest rate is. So we do have a lot of people asking what the logistics of instead of refinancing would be, selling their current home and making that jump into the bigger home, that they plan on being there for 5, 10, 15, 20 years after that, and lock in and run that low interest rate for the full 15 or 30 years of the loan. That will really help out there. So if you've been thinking about refinancing, maybe jumping up to another house, give us a call. Let us talk about it. There is options out there. You don't have to sell your old house just to put an offer on a new one. So give us a call and let us know what we can help with.